Welcome to the Shenmue AM2 podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Shenmue AM2 podcast. We're your hosts, Andrew
and Matt.
And we are here for episode 16. And this episode we are going to be talking about our thoughts on the latest KickStarter update, which is number 67. I didn't like this update.
No?
No. I thought the part with the model was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat to see an entirely new character, like one that hasn't been in, like, as far as I know, he hasn't been in, like, design documents from old games uncovered or anything.
No, I haven't seen him in anything. I like how the internet's kind of nicknamed him Boro for
Why
some
is
reason.
that?
I have no idea. Someone nicknamed him Boro, and I think it's just kind of stuck. It's gone through Twitter a little bit.
It kind of fits. I don't know. Wasn't the bad guy in Bloodsport named Bolo or something?
Oh, it's been so long since I've seen Bloodsport.
That might be his real life name. But anyways, it fits. He kind of looks like that guy.
Yeah. One thing I don't like about the character is the way his lips look in the drawing. I think they look hilarious.
That's a particular type of anime character with like the slimy snake lips.
They do look slimy and snake-like.
Yeah, you'll see that on different characters in anime, and it does look strange. It's the worst when they put it on a black character because then it's just blackface.
The day this Kickstarter update came out, I got to work and I emailed Matt, and I laughed so hard when he emailed me back. I just said, hey, did you see the new Kickstarter update? I'm not happy about it. And his reply was, I know, with an exclamation point. Who wears a belt and suspenders? And I laughed so hard at that.
It's just superfluous at that point. We invented belts, so we don't need suspenders.
Yeah, just make a choice, buddy. I really hope that someone hears this and they edit it either out the belt or the suspenders. Mm-hmm. I feel like the suspenders would give him more character than a belt.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why he wears both. He needs his style. It's my look, man. I don't care if it's functional.
I'll give him points for style.
Yeah. And he's got the nice 80s mullet going. So.
He is rocking a mullet hard in that. Mm-hmm. He's also appears to be doing ballet of some sort.
I was wondering if that's motion captured. It looks kind of stiff and awkward, so I'm not sure if it's hand animated or not. But
I imagine it's mocap because the arms aren't symmetrical when they're moving. They're a little bit different. Okay. But who knows? Overall, he looks like a strange character. I'm intrigued. I want to know how he fits into this universe.
Where do you think he is on tier, power level wise? Is he like a boss? Is this just a random goon that you would fight in a 70-man battle?
I will say he's somewhere in the range between Baihu and then going down, but still above Cool Z.
Okay. I'm wondering if he's about as significant as the guy with the board in the 70-man battle, like the mini boss. He shows up a few times in cutscenes and stuff, but not really given a name.
The guy with the pipe?
Oh, is it a pipe? I thought it was a board.
It might be a board. Internet, correct us there. Yeah, so that was that part of the update. Then there's the other part of the update.
Where your dreams and hopes were dashed against the rocks and sunk.
Yes.
Like a ship.
I hope this... Okay, I'm going to preface this. I love Shenmue. I have taken the time out of my day to co-host a podcast that gets broadcast around the world. I collect Shenmue stuff. I appreciate everything about Shenmue.
That's not enough proof. I need to see the receipts. Where's your Shenmue receipts?
I really like this game. I love this game. It's my favorite game of all time. They're making mistakes.
With what?
A lot of stuff with this Kickstarter.
Well, I mean, yeah. It began with a series of mistakes, most notably hiring Awesome Japan.
So, E3 is the same time every year. This isn't something that creeps up and surprises people.
Yeah.
They need to be at E3 this year. They chose to skip it last year, which I also think was a mistake. Now, before I say anything further, everything I am about to say can be negated if the fact that Saga has said, hey, here's Shenmue 3. If it's successful, we'll do Shenmue 4. You take all the risk now, we'll help you in the future if this third one is a financial success. If that is true behind the scenes somewheres, it negates everything I'm about to say.
Well, that's not something you'd hear about anyways.
Yeah, shady backroom deals. They're making marketing mistakes.
Yeah.
If Yu Suzuki, right off the bat, says Shenmue 3 is not going to be the final game,
Which he did.
He has the responsibility to make Shenmue 3 as profitable as possible. This isn't us choosing to go out and buy a game after he's made it. We're funding it beforehand. It is, I don't want to say irresponsible or reckless what he's doing, or what they're doing. It's not just him.
Yeah.
And again, this could be, Sony not wanting it to be there, but I have no idea why anyone would want it to not be there. But they are missing a huge marketing opportunity. People make E3 is the Super Bowl of video games.
Yeah.
People watch it, people get together, and for them to simply just not be there is unacceptable. Unless they are staying out of the way so we can get HD announcements for 1 and 2.
That's the hope.
And I mean, if that happens, I'm fine, because that is the advertising for Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
This is such a huge marketing opportunity, and people online say, hey, I don't want them to rush the game, I want it to be as good as possible. I wholeheartedly agree, but E3 is not a surprise. You need to be taking the time to put something together. This game has to be profitable.
Well, yeah, I think I've said this before, but the only thing I can think of is maybe they don't think it's a big enough deal to allow it on their stage. Like, it's a big deal when you announce it and reveal it's a thing, but just like what could essentially be in a Kickstarter update on the big E3 stage, I don't know if it has the same impact. I don't know.
Not a Kickstarter update, though. Just show a trailer.
That's what I mean. You could show a trailer in a Kickstarter update, but...
Yeah, but you can show it on E3. Devolver had 4 games.
That's true.
The year Shenmue 3 got announced.
They do mention those tiny... Actually, they did a call-out on that, like, old Neo Geo Frisbee game or something. So, yeah, I guess if that's featured, anything can be featured. So that's not an excuse. But the only other thing I can think of is maybe they realize it's not going to be ready, not just this E3, but next E3, it's still going to be being worked on. So they're like, we can't show it 2 years in a row. Like, people make that mistake all the time. They're like, hey, here's our game at E3 next year. Hey, here's our game again. Please still be excited, You just get that, you want that one burst of excitement, then release. That's what you want. So maybe if they have it here, they're like, well, we're not going to be done for next E3, or we're just not going to show up at next E3. Better to not show up at this E3 and then have a huge blowout at 2018's E3. Don't know. That's my thought now, I guess.
That's a big delay, though. If we're talking like a
6
year
months?
No, you're talking 18 months.
From December to just after next E3?
Okay, I suppose, yeah. If you're looking at it that way, from this E3 to, or December to next E3, yeah. It's just something. Show something. And maybe, they can take the year off because HD announcements are coming. I really hope they are.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say this is a sinking ship or anything.
No.
But this is making a mistake. If there's not some grander plan, and it's not just E3, they said game shows, like, meaning not game shows like The Price is Right, Gong Show or something. But they just need to get this in front of the public's eyes.
Yeah.
And I hope there's some plan behind this. And if they're simply lying and they are going to be there, that's not cool. No, there's no benefit to doing that. Absolutely none, other than getting me worked up on a podcast.
Yeah. It's even all the stranger because wasn't there rumors that they were ready to show it at PSX, but they decided not to?
There's rumors. It's Shenmue. There's always rumors.
Yeah.
Like Cool Z being the new leader of the Chiyu Men. I'm never going to drop that, internet. Ever.
Yeah, I don't think that's a rumor that anyone but you perpetuates.
So... the next topic is Cool Z being leader of the Chiyu. They have to be there. Something has to happen. Either Shenmue 3 is there and they're just bluffing, or the HD remakes.
Yeah. I have high hopes for the HD remake.
I have really high hopes for the HD remakes. Sega, there was the whole thing about the revival of their dormant IPs.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time.
One thing I don't have high hopes, or one thing I hope isn't the case, is that if it does get a release, that it's PC only. Because they've been doing a lot of releases on PC, and Sega has big success, it seems, releasing things on Steam now. So if they just skip consoles, I'll be very disappointed, because I hate gaming my PC.
I would have to buy a gaming PC. Because there's no way I'm not going to play them in HD.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, too, they would be alienating a huge portion of their audience because this is exclusive to PS4 and PC. So I don't think it would be any sort of benefit to doing so.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is can Sega come out and talk about Yakuza and Shenmue in the same conference?
I don't see why not. If they have their own little Sega block of announcements, like Devolver Digital had.
Yeah, I think they're similar in a lot of... I'm afraid Yakuza might overshadow Shenmue, but the other thing to take into consideration with that is we already know Kiwami's coming out in August.
Yeah.
And then Yakuza 6, it's already out in Japan, and we know it's on its way here.
I think they recently announced that they're working on another one.
And they are working on another one. So I don't think they would necessarily show that in E3 because
it'll come to Japan like 2 years before here.
Yeah. And I mean, the other Yakuza 6 it came out in Japan in 2016.
Yeah.
Late 2016, I think. But I just hope that they don't overshadow it. But this could be an E3 where we get a bunch of these small announcements, like here's your HD remakes, here's something from Onimusha, anything. Here's what other games have been people clamoring for.
I still want Phantasy Star Online 2, but I'm not going to get it.
That's just something that's not in North America too, isn't it?
It's been out for years in Japan, and the North American site is still up, and it still says coming soon or whatever, and hasn't been updated since 2012 or whatever.
You don't sound bitter about this at all. Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma Online I'd like to have. They get all the cool online games that we don't.
So I just hope there's some sort of plan that we're not privy to at this point in time, because people need to purchase Shenmue 3 in order for Shenmue 4 to see the light of day.
Yeah.
And I hate saying this, there are going to be people that have never played a Shenmue game before that are going to buy Shenmue 3, and they are not going to like it.
No.
But the fact that they've purchased it puts money towards potentially Shenmue 4. And I hate saying that, but we need to get this game in the hands of as many people as possible for us to see Shenmue 4. And since he's determined to make Shenmue 4 and not have the story finished with Shenmue 3, the responsibility really lies with them. I don't think they can do a Kickstarter for a fourth one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. The whole landscape of Kickstarter could be much different by the time they're ready to do a Shenmue 4. Like, maybe nobody will be crowdfunding anything anymore. Like, just maybe people will be much more cynical on it. Like, they already are, but maybe they'll be much more cynical on kickstarting things to the point that it's gone.
Well, look at the Mighty Number 9 It's not a good game.
Yeah.
It's not. And it kills me to say that.
Ukulele underperformed, apparently.
Yeah, Ukulele's not. It got mediocre review, mediocre to kind of good reviews. Bloodstained got delayed because they saw what happened to Mighty Number 9. They didn't want to, have to deal with all that heat.
Yeah.
And then recently, the Parappa the Rapper game that they tried to kickstart only got funded to 15% or something.
Yeah, and they canceled it today.
It didn't. It got canceled. So I think and people only have so much money to give as well. I mean, it boils down to disposable income and how much do you want something. Yeah. And it's doing a second Kickstarter would be, I don't want to say disrespectful, but
yeah, you'd hope that the first game would see success and be able to make itself appear through its own means and its own successes. Yeah, but we're just speculating. We're just talking about things we can't possibly know. So there's no point in worrying more than we have to.
I hope to, the day after E3, we're sitting in this room recording an oh my god moment.
Yeah.
There was nothing I would want more. That's our goal here. Is I would almost be more excited to see HD announcement than something Shenmue 3 related. Yeah. Because I know at some point in time I'm going to see more Shenmue 3 stuff.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. The game's going to be made. It's going to come out, barring some sort of disaster. knock on wood. But Shenmue HD, it's at this point in time, it's a dream.
Yeah. At this point, it being announced would also be a surprise, almost the likes of Shenmue 3. But
and Saga, just do it.
Yep.
Just do it. It's nothing but good PR for you. Even if the game, comes out and people don't necessarily like it that much.
I'll buy it for myself and 9 of my friends.
Oh, yeah. To quote the merchant in Resident Evil 4, I'll buy it at a high price.
Yes.
What are you selling? I want the game. I will. And as much as we were talking about not wanting Shenmue 4 to be through a Kickstarter, I mean, I'll give my left leg. I would do it again. I absolutely would do it again. It'd be a little bit harder to justify at this time.
Yeah.
But I would do it. Would you?
It depends on how the third game turns out.
Really?
If it's a disaster, I'm not going to trust them on a fourth game. If it's a disaster...
So
literal disaster, and you're still gonna trust them to do it again.
I need to know what happens. Mr. Suzuki-san, putty in your hands.
Wow, you could sell Andrew a box of shit with the name Shenmue 3 on it, and he'd buy Shenmue 4.
If it progresses the story, I will buy your box of shit, sir.
It's a box of shit with a notepad in it that says the story of Shenmue 3. Here's the next box of shit you wanted.
Sold. I'm sold. And you're sold too. Don't say you're not.
I wouldn't buy a box of shit. But
if you no,
let's be frank. It's not going to be a box of shit. It's going to be good, right?
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah. I was just speculating wildly, putting a hypothetical out there for you to contemplate. But I don't think
I will buy that box of shit.
I don't think it'll be that bad. I think it'll be quite good, actually.
So that's our thoughts on this Kickstarter update. We want to hear your thoughts, so we are on social media. We are Shenmue AM2 podcast at gmail.com.
Do we have any emails, by the way?
Nothing recent. I've responded to a couple. They're just like little, I enjoy what you do things. We appreciate all that. We are Shenmue AM2 pod on the Twitters. I've been quite active with the Twitter. I've actually posted a question for an upcoming episode about people's favorite music tracks. We are on Facebook, Shenmue AM2 podcast. We are youtube.com/Shenmue AM2 podcast. We are on iTunes, Shenmue AM2 podcast. We are on Google Play Music. And I don't think we've had a single download because it's a very convoluted, hard to use thing.
Is it?
But we are there. If anyone that hates iTunes or wants to boycott Apple, we are there.
Cool. So, we'd like to thank our sponsor this week,
Tom's Hot Dog Stand, home of the Yakuza dog.
What's a Yakuza dog taste like? No one knows because no one buys. It's a mystery.
See you next episode.
Bye.